let's start with where you're from and what got you interested in the music business. Let's start there.
Yeah, I am born and raised from a little town called Roswell, Georgia.
Wait, whoa. So you're from here?
Yeah, born and raised.
Oh,
Went to
Roswell.
high school, graduated from Roswell, member
Okay.
of Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church. So music has always been a part of my life. I started at Berklee College of Music in Boston, and then I left there early and came back to Atlanta, but to continue to pursue music. Then ended up at the Music Business Institute to get an associate's degree in entertainment management with an emphasis on audio engineering. And then I got offered a job to be an A&R representative for Sony Music. That's why I switched over to A&R and then became an A&R director for Columbia Records and moved to New York. Teddy Riley was one of the first people to give me a constant paycheck at first. And I met him while I was, him and his manager, I met them while I was an intern at MCA Records. And they were signed to the label, I want to say Uptown, I do believe.
I think they were with Uptown. They were with Andre.
Right, up underneath MCA for distribution.
Right.
That's where I met him. And his manager was like, you're really talented. I'd like for you to come work for us. I was like, okay, sure.
So he wanted you to work for them in what capacity?
I was an administrative assistant to the radio promotions guy. His name was T.C. Tompkins.
Okay.
And then from there, I came back to Atlanta, and MCA ended up hiring me full time. And that's where my true professional record company job experience started. But I was at least an intern for about 2 years before that happened. At Sony Music, my very first act that I brought there was Dionne Farris from Arrested Development.
Yeah.
So headliner, I was over at his house and he was playing this song. This girl was singing, "I know what you're doing, baby," and I was like, "Man, what is that?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, that's one of the girls that's in our group that sings with us. Her name is Dionne." I said, "Is she signed?" And he said, "No." Now, mind you, this was before I was even interviewed for the job that I heard that song. Wow. So once I got the opportunity to interview to be A&R, and they asked me that, that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, that girl needs a record deal. And so I went to her house on my birthday, and I told her what the situation was. I said, I have an opportunity to be an A&R person, and they want me to find somebody who I think should have a record deal, and I think it should be you. I said, I heard your song from Headliner, and I think it's a hit. And she was like, okay. And I said, I know you don't know me from Adam, and I'm just asking you to trust me. I said, but I'd like to present you. And I said, do you have any more songs other than this, the one I heard? And she was like, actually, I do. And I said, okay, how many do you have? She says, well, I got about 17. And so kind of rule of thumb, when somebody says I got 30 songs, or I got 20 songs, right. you might get 2 that you really love out of those, right? Mm-hmm. She proceeded to play me song after song after song after song. And I kept sitting there thinking and listening to all this stuff. And I was like, this is going to change my life. Yeah. And out of those 17 songs, I had presented just 3 as my presentation. And I got the job, and she got the record deal. And so once I got the job, they said, Kim, does she have any more songs? I said, yep, she sure does. They said, can you turn those in? I said, yep. And out of the 17 that I heard, I submitted 13, and they kept 11. So yeah, so it was a big win for both of us, at that time. And she got nominated for a Grammy off of that album. She sold 1 million copies of that album, and I Know went to number 4 on the pop charts. At the time, Matthew Knowles wanted me to work with the girls uh, on a show. He's like, can you put together shows? I was like, yeah, I can. Because I just generally was just going off of my knowledge of being a musical director at church. And Matthew didn't tell me until like I was on speakerphone with Ken Ehrlich, who has produced the Grammys for years. He just retired this past February. And he was like, when he asked me, he says, can you put together a show? I was like, yeah, I can do that. And he says, okay, well, hold on. I got to take this call with Ken Ehrlich. And he puts Ken Ehrlich on the speakerphone. He's like, hey, Ken, how you doing? He's like, good. You know, Matthew, you ready? He's like, yeah, we're ready. I actually want you to meet Kim. Kim's going to be putting the girls' show together for their first Grammy performance. And I was like, what? You know? And so I'm not, and Matthew's looking at me like he's on speakerphone. Like, what are you going to say? I was like, yeah, hi, Ken, nice to meet you. I look forward to working with you. You know, and I'm sitting here going, what in the world is going on? And he was like, great. So are you going to come out to LA on Thursday and let's talk about this show? We're going to do independent women. He's calling out the name of the song. And Matthew goes, yeah, and to say my name. And he's like, right, and to say my name. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, independent women and to say my name. Okay, how long is it? Just every question was in my brain. And I knew I could not tell this man that this was the very first show I was ever working on as live performance, live TV, live everything. And I remember after having that meeting, I just remember praying to God saying, okay, classic, you know, cliche line we've all heard, those of faith. Lord, if you led me to it, you're going to take me through it. So I thought if I can't do this, then I can't do nothing. So evidently, you must think I can do it. So all this stuff is going through my head. And I just start to begin to build the show. And we got through that show. It was a success. Mm-hmm. And my very next show after that was the equivalent of the Grammy Awards called the Brit Awards. And we basically, the night of the Grammys, once we finished, we got on a plane and headed over to London and performed Independent Women there right after the Grammys. And that performance, the record company was so pleased, they put it on as an extra on one of their first kind of video DVD releases and made it a part of that release. And the irony to that is with Destiny's Child, I was involved with and very instrumental into helping them to get signed to Columbia Records because I was A&R at the time, and Teresa Alba Whites had shared their demo tape with me. And but at the time that I did the show with them, I had left Columbia probably 4 years before that. So Matthew and Tina reached out to me to have me come back in and work with the girls again. And then I just started doing all of their live shows. And that was the beginning of my live show career, like letting people down.
Yeah.
You know.
You wanted the show improve.
Absolutely. If you asked me to do it and I said yes, you best believe I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. You know, and anytime I feel like I've fallen short than that, there's no need for anybody to beat me up. I beat myself up the most if something doesn't come through correctly. So he had the confidence, which gave me the confidence. And then when I remember meeting with the girls and talking to them about the show, and they shared the ideas that they had as well. And then they showed me that they had the confidence in me as well. So I had to win, you know. And that started a whole live show career with me, Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle for the next 12 years.
You're a music director, right? So what are your roles? What are your responsibilities? What does that entail?
With me, it's kind of broad. It's like director, but then the overshadow of that is basically music supervisor. Because what I would do now is I would hire bands with an MD that would be on stage that I would work with, and work with the arrangements of what was needed for whatever it was, tour show, TV show, the band on stage live, or have to record the band. So it's a track, whatever capacity it was, music wise, I was responsible and accountable for. And, and so that has now turned into what I do. When people call me, I could either put a band together for you, or I could take your existing band and work with that band. You start with me in the sense of what is the song, how many songs, what's the arrangement going to be, and then that has to get passed off to, if you have dancers, to choreography, and then that has to be passed off to lights so that they can know how to program the lights to what the arrangement is doing. Same thing with props, in the sense of, okay, what we want to do is we want to do a on-stage pop-up. In other words, that's you have a lift that has an actual spring in it that springs you up to help you jump in the air, kind of like, very classic what Michael Jackson did and the concert in Baghdad. He did that. It's called a toaster. So, you think of, like, you hear the arrangement, and a lot of times the arrangement is the inspiration for all the other creative departments to start doing their input, or it could just be coming from the creative director and just the artist. And that's where sometimes my lines get crossed a little bit, because I can give you the arrangement and I can give you creative direction at the same time. And as time went by, certain people would hire me for both. Certain people would just hire me just for music. Some people would just hire me just for creative. For Jamie Foxx, I did both of his 2 tours that he did, and was the creative director for both of those tours. But he had his own MD, and they had their own arrangements. But I might suggest something of an arrangement, but I'm able to also talk the music language, as well as I am able to talk to a set designer and a light designer about things that I want to do. So it depends on what you're hired for. I've just been really blessed and to be flexible in that situation. So you've got things where if it's just a music director and I'm just on stage, that's what that is. You have a situation where I'm just being creative and I'm dealing with set design and light designers and all that stuff like that, and it's just that. Then you have a situation where I'm able to be both. There's one of my performances you can pull up of Ciara on George Lopez, where I had to be the creative director and the musical director, and had to do the arrangement of that with some musicians that I use, and then pass that arrangement over to the house band and make sure the house band played it exactly like she had been rehearsing it. Every job is different, and then like Black Girls Rock, I'm just dealing with artists coming in and singing what their song they're singing, what arrangement is going on, and how I'm presenting that for the TV or the TV taping. So
how do you, because you have like some of the names that you've worked with so far, kind of like, very, very huge stars. Like at what point did you have like the confidence to kind of, basically let your ideas be known, and kind of had the confidence they would accept and kind of let you take the lead per se? Or did that come just naturally?
No, I mean, I have to give that credit definitely to working with Destiny's Child. They, at the time, of course, was the most prominent female group out in the early 2000s. And so them allowing me, and Matthew and Tina and Beyonce, Michelle and Kelly, allowing me to have ideas and present things to them, and present musical arrangements and things like that to them. That helped with my confidence, because when I would present those things to them, or even if they presented something to me and I was able to, execute it and do it for them, that gave me the confidence. I felt like, how can I say it in layman's terms, as I say, that helped me to walk in the room and be like, I'm in here. When people usher you into a room, you get ushered into that room, I feel, because it's meant for you to come in that room. Now, once you're in that room, if you don't speak to nobody, if you get scared and you run out the room, that's your fault.
Right.
But if somebody's taking your hand and saying, "No, come over here with me, come in this room," and then you walk in the room and you're like, "Oh, there goes so and so. Oh, there goes so and so. OMG, that is Michael Jackson for real, for real. Okay, okay, okay. I'm in here." You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you get ushered into the room for a reason. You know, I would always stand on the verse, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. I believe that. So in whatever I did, I wanted to make sure I was delighting in him because his word said he would give me the desires of my heart. Well, my desire was to be involved in the entertainment industry. I didn't care where I was in the entertainment industry, to be
Mhm.
honest. I didn't care about packing records, working at a record store at the time. It didn't matter to me. Uh, Wherever is this, they say, anyway, you bless me, Lord, I'll be satisfied. So wherever he wanted to put me, I was like, I'm just going to be ready. And if you
Preach.
had told me 10 years, well, now at this time, 25 years ago, that I would be doing the things that I'm doing and talking to the artists that I'm talking to and creating the shows that I'm creating or being a part or supervising any of these shows that I've done, I would have been like, are you sure? Me? Really?
Oh no.
Okay.
Good. I'm gonna do one more question because we got some people here that want to ask you some questions, Kim. So I'm gonna do this one last one though, because I'm assuming you have a team, right? That you have whenever you're doing shows, as far as TV shows or tours. So what do you look for specifically when you're bringing somebody on your team to do whatever in the creative role, in the show production role, whatever? How can somebody kind of stand out if they're trying to get their first, one up in the business to work with you or somebody, your stature?
The things is you have to try to be two steps ahead and not two steps behind. And if you don't know, uh, I can say that I'm the type of boss that I don't mind you asking me a question. Some people, they don't want you to ask them questions. They want you to figure it out. I
Right.
want you to ask me a question because if I give you the answer, then that you can react quicker than trying to figure it out. And then if you try to figure it out on your own and it's wrong, I'm going to be more mad. So the thing is I want you to be better. You can have the passion, but also try to have the knowledge as well. Because when I went to school for entertainment business, we were taught about Billboard and at the time Radio and Records. Those were the two main trade magazines that reported how a record would go up the charts.
Mm-hmm.
So before I could go to be an intern at a record company, I wanted to understand what that language was because I guarantee you, as soon as I got in there, that's what they were dealing with on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, both on the sales side and both on the radio and promotion side. And so when they were saying, well, this week we have a bullet, so we have to try to get that increase from light to medium. As soon as they started talking, I knew what they were talking about. So the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that before you apply for something, do your research. They want to feel like you need to let people feel like you're an asset more so than something that they don't want to deal with. And if you're getting the coffee, but might not be the right time to be asking questions or things like that, then get the coffee. And if there's a table with some snacks and things on it, go over to that and try to ear hustle. Okay, let me see what they're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
It's almost like I remember when I was an intern, my thing was every day I would get up and wake up and say, okay, today I'm running for president. Who am I going to get to vote for me? And that's how I would approach the day. So if there was somebody in the office that I hadn't met yet or didn't know, I'd try to go after I did my work for that day. I'd go try to meet them. Say, hi, I'm Kim. I'm working with Martha Fry and Candace Bonner down the hall. It's nice to meet you. I just wanted to let you know I'm around. And, if I've done all their work and you need help, just let me know. That's the kind of person I was. And then the next thing you know, my boss would be like, did you introduce yourself to Joe today? And I'd be like, yeah, I sure did. He's really cool. And I remember my boss saying, yeah, he said you were a nice lady too. I said, oh, that's good. So, it's it you can have no experience. You got to have the passion and the will to want to do. And more than that, you've got to have the want to learn. I just need to know um, that you're in it for the love of what the job is, not because you want to meet Jennifer, or not because you want to, um, you want me to introduce you to Adam Blackstone so you can get on the next tour, or like,
Right.
and all that's good. Yes, you have to meet people to get to that one, to get this one, or whatever. But there's a way to do everything. There's just a way to do everything.
Right. There's a time and a place, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you think the lasting impacts of our situation now are going to be to the music industry in the years to come? And how are you going to prepare for that as far as touring, as far as live shows? And, what's your, I don't want to, nobody has a crystal ball, but what do you think is going to come out of this, and how are you going to prepare for it?
Well, the thing, I've thought about this already, so it's a great question. And first of all, let me just give this encouragement to everybody that's watching. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be fine. I have a feeling that I might be very busy, because the thing is that people are going to want to do shows. They're going to want those ticket sales to go back into effect. They're going to call their people that were not working, their guitar techs and their monitor man and their front of house man, and and the promoters are going to be like, okay, we back on. Okay, so let's reschedule these shows that were canceled for Coachella and for the Michael Bublé tour and the Legacy tour here with Gregory. Let's get this together. Like, people are going to go back in that mode.
And I can't wait to see, like, what all this downtime is going to do for, when I see your next shows and everything, and how that's going to impact. So I know you're digging in the crates right now.
God is so good. I just finished doing a virtual performance with Jennifer Lopez for something that's coming up. And we did it all through FaceTime, and she filmed it in her backyard, and and so and it turned out to be something that was really great. So proud of her. I enjoy working with her so much. And to be able to still do what I do in a time like this, how it found its way through all of that to happen. So after this is over, that's what I predict for me and what I do.
Well, Kim, I really appreciate your time and giving us all this knowledge. And I like the fact that, you really had a positive attitude toward this in your career. I see you a lot, you're really faith-based, and I just love that you kind of like speak stuff into existence. I can see it. So
So it's power in your words, man. Believe in your dreams. Believe in your dreams, because I had dreams. I just didn't know that they would go to this extent, meaning they're beyond what I even dreamed. So I would have just I knew what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And there were even times that I was like, no, I want to do specifically this. Mm-hmm. But then when I kind of let go and said, just, okay, God, where, what I want to do. So just put me wherever you feel, I'll be ready. When I opened it up like that, that's when it just went.
Nice.
It took off. So I can't accredit anybody but him, because I didn't pray to nobody else for my dreams. I only prayed to him, It's,
I like that.
One of the reasons I'm talking to you now. So I'm very grateful.
Her on social media. What's your handle?
At KB is me, and that's KAY, the letter B, ISMEE. That's it.
Love you guys. Please, everybody, stay safe, be good, and we see you guys next week. Talk to you, Kim.
Thank you so much. Everybody be safe.
All right.